But today we're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and our special guest today is a leader in the worldwide fight against hunger. He's president of this organization called Food for the Hungry, and he was born in Nagoya in Japan. His name is Dr. Tetsunao Yamamori. We'll talk to him about his life, his work here with the organization, and what his goals are and plans are to eradicate world hunger. So come and join us.
Founded in 1971, Food for the Hungry, a Christian international relief and development organization, ministers to the needs of 1 million people in some of the poorest countries in the world. Food for the Hungry President, Tetsunao Yamamori, particularly emphasizes the need for long-term programs to combat disaster and says that most countries are cooperative. He defines a famine as a temporary depletion of food in a given geographical area and recalls his own background as a malnourished 7-year-old in Nagoya during the war, an experience which led to his desire to work in this field.
Dr. Tetsunao Yamamori, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark, for inviting me to your show.
Well, thank you for coming along. We're here in Arizona at the headquarters of Food for the Hungry. Tell us about this organization and what you do here.
Food for the Hungry is an international relief and development organization working in about 35 countries at any given year with a staff of 1,300 full-time. And then not only do we respond to the emergency situations, disasters, natural or man-made, but also we will be involved in the long-term development assistance, such as the water resource development, micro-enterprise, small business loans, primary health care, and educational programs.
And what is your role here?
I serve as the president of Food for the Hungry International.
People have an idea of this type of organization that you simply go and take food to people, but it seems like it's much more than just that.
No, the key in assisting people is in the disaster situations, you have to do everything to deliver food, and clothes, and medicine. But relief operations are not the answer to the long-term chronic hunger problems. In the chronic hunger situations where you have in various parts of the world that it's not simply the disaster that brings the problem, but it's a long-term need that exists in order to really lift themselves up. We have to be involved in long-term development assistance.
This is kind of a difficult question to ask, but are there certain kinds of systems, governmental systems that breed hunger or make it difficult for you to do your work in those countries?
Well, of course, when you go into various third-world countries, corruption is high. The government restrictions in terms of what we can do, we cannot do. But in the main, we do receive good cooperation because government know that they need assistance from outside. So we enjoy the good relationship. But in some cases, we do encounter some problems in terms of bureaucracy, in terms of some individual government officials dictating their own wishes on us.
Do you find some countries that don't want to have you participate, they don't want to admit that they have a need for help?
There is a country or two that we have encountered that it is almost a shame for the government to admit that there is need. But in various places where we work, this has not been the main problem.
Can you tell us something about your background, why you decided to get into this line of work?
Well, I was 7 years of age in 1944, 45, and of course I was part of the Shudan Sokai, which is elementary school students going away from the city of Nagoya, which was very heavily bombed. and we were living in a Buddhist temple to avoid such a heavy bombing. And of course, famine is defined as a temporary depletion of foodstuff in a given geographical period, geographical area for a short period of time. And money, even though you may have money, you cannot purchase it. We were in that kind of situation in Nagoya, where money didn't buy food. We were involved in very much of a struggle, in the sense that we were eating bugs, we were eating leaves of the potato, and just surviving. And naturally, there wasn't enough nutrition in these foodstuff. And I was very heavily malnourished, and I was almost given up by our doctor, family doctor, when I returned home. And so that experience really incurred in me a desire to do something about the peace of the world. And that's the way I went into the study, and eventually wanted to be a diplomat for the government in order to deal with the situations in various parts of the world. But eventually I decided that the real answer to this kind of a problem would be to really deal with one-on-one relationship or people-to-people relationship from non-governmental aspects. And so when I was faced with the opportunity to join Food for the Hungry, after 18 years of college and university teaching as a sociologist, I took advantage of it and joined Food for the Hungry about 15 years ago.